Hello again everyone, my name is James Shotwell and this is the Music Biz channel. Today we're going to be talking about reaching your goals. I know that we're only about 2 months into the new year, but I know a lot of people are already struggling. Maybe you make goals too big, maybe you plan too poorly, but have no fear, today I'm going to get you back on track. So let's get to it. Okay, let's have a hard conversation. If you're falling behind on your goals for 2022 right now, we need to take a look at why that is. And there's a few good reasons, and there's probably a few bad reasons. But what's most likely happening are a few things. One, you made goals that were a little bit too big. So for example, maybe you thought you'd have that new album written already. You'd write it in the first month of the year, record it, and then go on tour. Maybe that's not happening. Or possibly you just didn't plan well enough. So your goals were absolutely achievable. For example, growing your audience by 10 followers every single week. But the method of going about it wasn't good enough to get you to that point, and now you feel more and more stressed about how far you're falling behind. Either way, I can help you get back on track. But the first thing you have to do is just forgive yourself. At the end of the day, plans go awry. I mean, Steinbeck's book of Mice and Men definitely said it best. Our best laid plans often go awry. And that's what happens. That's why we make goals and we adjust over time. The idea that you would just say, I'm going to do X and nothing will go wrong until you accomplish that is a fairy tale, especially in the music business. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. But don't worry, we're gonna get you back on track. So here's what I want you to do. Right now, let's just throw it all away. Whatever the thing is that you're stressing about, the thing you're falling behind on, the thing that's not happening the way that you thought it would be happening this year, we're just gonna rip up that page and throw it away. And if you didn't actually write it down, just mentally toss it up. Just throw it out. Just get rid of it. Just clear the page, okay? We need to refocus our goals. We need to rethink about the progress that we can make and how we can achieve the things that we set out to do. So the first thing we're going to do is rethink about those goals. Now, I'm not saying you can't keep the same goal. You may need to ask yourself whether or not what you're trying to accomplish is reasonable. So for example, if we go back to the idea of building your followers, if you want to get 100 new followers every week, that's a mighty big ask unless you're pumping out a ton of really engaging content. So if the reason you're not reaching your goal is because it's too big, it's too impossible to do in the amount of time you're giving yourself, then we need to adjust the goal lines a little bit. We need to pull it back a little bit or push it further out. So maybe it's 100 followers every month instead of every week, or it's 10 followers every week instead of 100. You get the idea? The next thing that we need to do is we also need to think about the progress that we're taking to get there and how we're doing it. Now, if you remember the video I dropped near the beginning of 2022, I told you that it all comes down to planning, and not in the big idea of like, I'm gonna go 1, 2, and 3. It's 1 ABCD, 2 ABCD, 3 ABCD. So for example, if I wanted to write a new album before spring started, I wouldn't just say I'm going to have the album done in March. I would say each week I'm going to set aside X amount of time to write, and by the end of the week I'm going to review everything I have and set aside time to edit what I've done and decide whether or not to keep it, and the next week I'll start all over again. And slowly, hopefully, you'll accrue material. But the catch is, as we do these things and as we're working on the progress towards our goals, we know when we're starting to fall behind, and there's two different things that could be happening there. One, perhaps we're being a little bit lazy. Perhaps we're letting things slip where they shouldn't slip and we need to tighten it up. Or, and what I find is often more frequently the case with musicians, is that we aren't cutting ourselves slack. So we said we'd get that album done by spring. We are doing the thing. We are setting aside time to write. We're reviewing it every week, but we don't love the material yet. It's just not there. And rather than say, we need to push things back, we say, we'll just double down. We'll write twice as much, we'll edit twice as much, we'll do twice as much, and we'll get twice as much stuff to consider. Therefore, the likelihood of high quality content will be better. But let me tell you, friends, that's a recipe for disaster. Now, I've been an active part of the music industry for over a decade, and I've heard every story there is to tell about dreams and falling short of them. And let me tell you that one of the biggest things that happens is that when somebody feels like they're falling short of what they think they should be doing, not what anyone else tells them they should be doing, not what some rule says they should be doing, but what they feel they should be able to accomplish, there's nothing more deflating than somebody wrestling with themselves over their progress. Because when we talk to ourselves, we rarely do it in a positive way. We rarely say, oh my gosh, look how far we come. We say, look how far we've yet to go. You know, that's some negative self-talk. And the more that we do that, the more it builds up and the more it fights against our will to keep getting things accomplished. So one week we don't get that song that we wanted to write accomplished. And then the next week we spend the entire time thinking about how we need to get 2 songs done so that we can stay on track. And then we don't end up getting those 2 songs done. Then we're trying to get 3 songs done. And then while we're trying to do that, we're stressing out about the album and how things are falling behind. And then we start thinking about how much the album's going to cost and how we're going to tour it and how we're going to build our fan base and how we're going to, oh my gosh, it gets really overwhelming really fast. And I don't want that for you. There is no reason for you to be stressed about things like goal setting and achieving them unless you're putting yourself under rules and restraints that are making it too difficult to achieve what you're going after. So again, you got to give yourself room to breathe. I'm not saying give yourself 6 months to accomplish something that you know you can do in 2 weeks. I'm saying if you know you can do something in 2 weeks, give yourself up to 3 to get it accomplished. That way you can make sure it's as good as it can possibly be. Do not try to do the 2-week thing in 1 week just to prove it to yourself. That's dumb. It's going to produce worse results and you're just going to be frustrated. You should be happy, you should be relaxed, you should be having fun, because at the end of the day, there's no guarantee you're going to get a record deal. There's no guarantee you're ever going to tour sold out theaters. There's no guarantee this is going to become a full-time job. The only thing that you have at the end of the day is the art you create and the passion that you have for it. And if those things are missing, if you are not excited about what you're making, or if you look at the idea of creativity and art in terms of stress and work and requirements, well, then we need to step back in a really big way and adjust our perspective, because that headspace is going to lead not only to ruin when it comes to your goals, but it could throw your whole career out of whack, because you're going to start thinking about it in terms of business rather than artistic fulfillment. And when that happens, fans notice, the industry notices, and nobody wants to talk to that guy. Nobody wants to talk to somebody who thinks about music in terms of dollars and cents, because that's not what art is about. So my friends, if you're falling short on your goals right now, this is a video to remind you there is still time to get things done. Whether you're 23, 53, or 73, there is still time to do the things that you want, and there's no reason to stress yourself out about the things you've yet to achieve. What you need to do is take a step back, step out of the situation you're currently in, and reconsider your position. Think about what you want and think about how you're going to get there. Not in the big picture, but in the minutia. Day to day, what are we doing today to be a little bit closer to our goals tomorrow? And if you find in a week that you're still a great distance away, it's okay to reconsider what you're doing and make changes, or make changes to when you hope that project is complete. But don't give up hope, because you can achieve these things as long as you're patient, you love yourself, you're kind to others, you work hard, and you chase your passion. And the entire time, I'll be here to help you. So you know what this means. If you haven't already subscribed to the Music Biz channel, please take a moment to do that below, or on our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/musicbiz. I don't know where you're watching this. I just want you to subscribe, because we're building a community of passionate artists and industry professionals who want to see a better, more accessible, more friendly industry for everyone involved. And I think that we can build it together. So please click that button. And if you already have, thank you again for watching. You make my life and career possible. I owe you everything. And I'll be back soon with even more content. So until then, take care of yourself, because you deserve it.